Once you've chosen the right hike, let's talk preparation. Before heading out on a hike or a camping trip, what should people be doing?
Before heading out, again, you're looking at the weather, you're checking out the trails, thinking about, is this the right trail for yourself and your dog? If you're going to Kananaskis, you're going to need a pass. If you're going into Banff, you're going to need a pass as well. I basically always have a backpack that I use. It's filled with things that I'm bringing. So bear spray, number one, making sure that I always have bear spray. I don't know why, but I do feel safer with a knife. So I always got a knife with me. For your dog, first aid kit or a rescue sling. Things like treats and food for your dog. So we always have treats. Water bowl. So we got a water bowl for Butch that I can pour water into him along the hike. What food you should bring, definitely important. If you're gonna be out early in the morning or later, so the sun setting, we always have flashlights. So we might have a headlamp and a flashlight as well. So we're always making sure that we're prepared. And then lastly, you got to be thinking about layers. So depending on the temperature, what the weather conditions are going to be like, making sure that you're dressed appropriately.
What are some common mistakes dog owners doing before heading out?
Making sure that you're packed correctly and not overpacking. So again, these are the kind of things that we'd recommend bringing, but don't bring too much. You don't want your backpack overfilled with stuff. And instead of it should be weighing 10 pounds, it's weighing 20 pounds. If you're gonna be out before sunrise or after the sun goes down, making sure you got flashlights, that's important. And then not overdoing it. If you're just starting out, just start simple and go for a simple hike.
What should people check before leaving for an all-day adventure in Kananaskis?
So if you're going out for the day, making sure that you got a pass, checking the weather before you leave, making sure you have your trail or your hike picked out, having a plan B. If plan A doesn't work out, just always go back to plan B.
What should people know about wildlife and trail etiquette when bringing dogs into the mountains?
Yeah, so for wildlife, we're definitely thinking about that. And obviously the big one would be bears. So again, we always have bear spray with us. And we've never on a hike come across a bear or ever had to use it, but we always have it with us. And you got to think about other wildlife as well that you may encounter. And of course, in a lot of areas in Kananaskis, you're going to need your dog on leash, unless it's a public use land. But if we're out in Kananaskis, we got Butch on a leash for the hike.
If someone is new to hiking with their dog, what's the best piece of advice you would give them?
I think, so I would just start off simple. I would think about trails. If you're in Calgary, trails in the Calgary area. So you can go to a place like Fish Creek and just go for a little hike in Fish Creek, go to an off-leash area, and then probably a good beginner hike would be Fullerton Lake or Fullerton Loop that you can do for a beginner hike.
Let's talk gear. What are your must-have items whenever you head out with your dog?
Gear, pretty simple. Some people might get a more elaborate, but must-have gear when I'm heading out with Butch, you need a leash. So this is an all-mountain leash. This is the one that we use quite a bit, 6 or 8 feet. If we're going out hiking, it may be an 8-foot leash. Easy, you can put around your waist. If it's gonna be wet, what we think about is having a waterproof leash. So this is our biothane leashes. So if it's gonna be wet conditions, we're grabbing our biothane leash. We also sometimes use a rope leash, just depending on how we're feeling. I always have a collar for my dog and a dog ID tag. You're gonna need a harness, so whenever we're going out hiking, Butch is hooked up to the harness. You're gonna need a water bowl for your dog, so we always carry a water bowl. We always have a first aid kit and obviously food. We always bringing treats because I'm taking pictures with Butch and need to get his attention because he just has a mind of his own.
What are some things people often forget to pack?
You're gonna need a flashlight sometimes or a headlamp, making sure you got your food, bear spray, enough water, and think about where you're going. If you're going into Kananaskis, you need a Kananaskis pass.
Rocky Mountain Dog offers a first aid kit. Can you tell us a little bit about what's inside the first aid kit and why a first aid kit is important when you're out in the mountains.
So here's our first aid kit. Lots of stuff inside the first aid kit. We got a sling, we got a thermometer, we got a tick remover, gauze pads, band-aids, ice pack actually, in case you need it. We got a little blanket in here, a pair of scissors. So we got everything you need in here in case there's an emergency.
What leash setup do you recommend for hiking?
For leash setup, I'm always using a hands-free leash. I'm always hiking with my dog and he's around my waist, either 6 or 8 feet. If it's going to be wet conditions, I'm switching to a waterproof leash. So that would be our biothane hands-free leash, and usually that would be 8 feet long.
What Rocky Mountain dog gear do you find yourself bringing on almost every adventure?
We keep it pretty simple. On every trip, Butch has 4 things. So he's always got his harness on. If we're going out for a hike, he's got a leash. Depending on whether it's going to be wet or not, that just might be a regular all-mountain leash or a waterproof leash. A collar with an ID tag, and we always got a water bowl for water for Butch.